Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing holding angles wide versus tight. We're going to quickly go over that because I've talked about that before, but then I want to talk about one key element in that which impacts you adjusting your crosshair placement. So let's say, for example, you're playing in ladder room. You don't hear any noise of anybody coming up cat. They haven't really thrown any smokes or anything, or even if they have thrown smokes, you don't hear footsteps. You don't hear anybody coming up. So you're probably going to hold this angle pretty tight. See, I'm not directly on the angle, but I'm still like fairly tight to the angle. So if they do come through, and they're going to be walking when they do so, right? I can quickly just get the headshot, and it gives me enough time to react, so I don't have to move my crosshair to get the headshot either. Yeah, so I'm not like holding it wide, and I'm not going to hold it super tight, because then I still have to flick over if they do come out. And again, they should be walking at this point. I shouldn't, like, unless I hear footsteps, I should be holding this angle fairly tight. Then, for example, let's say that you're close ramp like this, you're going to want to hold this wide. Even if you don't hear footsteps, you want to hold this wide just because it is very common for somebody to get right here and then swing out wide. They're probably not going to be jiggling it super like this, just because they do have some other angles to worry about, and they're super worried about this upper CT right there. So you should be able to hold this wide. If a flash does come over, everybody will be sprinting out. And flicking over to the tight part isn't that difficult. All right, so it's always easier to hold wide and then flick over to tight than it is play tight and flick over to wide, just because if you're holding wide and they swing tight, you only have this much distance to cover with your crosshair, right? They could be anywhere in this box. If you hold tight and they swing out wide, that means that they can be anywhere in like a much bigger box, right? They can continue to swing. Just because they swing out wide doesn't mean they counter strafe right here, right? They can swing out all the way, and you can do that drag spray where you completely miss the guy the whole way over. But holding tight and then missing, or holding tight and having them swing out wide, opens up such a big box. So if you don't know what you should do, you should probably just hold it wide, or hold it a little like in between, like this I'd say is a bit in between, and then just make sure that you can hit your flick over when they do come out. So that's all stuff that we've gone over before, but what I want to talk about today, and I saw this in a demo review recently, and I don't think that I had actually stated it in a video format, but it's something that I think needs to be talked about, is if you hear the guy coming up, adjust your crosshair. So if I'm playing cat and I'm holding this angle fairly close, but I hear footsteps, all right? One, I know that I can set myself up for a multi-frag. So this is a position where you can get the first guy and then they have to swing into you. But if I hear like a ton of them coming up cat, right, I might try to reposition to here. And maybe even get up the ladder and sit on top of it, or just get into a corner where it's harder for them to clear me. Yeah, I'd probably get up on ladder, because this is just such a weird angle hitting the ladder. Or for example, if I'm like right here and I'm holding this close and I hear all the steps coming up, I'm going to fall off to a much more passive angle, right? Because the worst thing that you can do when you hear lots of people coming up is just get the first kill and have the second guy swing into you and immediately trade you out. You want to set yourself up for the multi-kills, and this is a good spot to set yourself up for the multi-kills, because one, you can easily get the first kill. Crosshair placement's a little wacky on this angle, but if you crouch, it makes it a little less wacky. You can easily get the first kill because the guy's not going to be clearing you, and then the second guy won't be coming around like pre-firing this angle, right? Nobody's super comfortable with that angle. They're probably going to be coming out like this, or there's not even time to really call, oh, well, he's deeper towards vent side lat. Like, there's no call for it, and nobody's going to be making that call. So you get the first, right? And then the second guy walks into you. That's when you want to maybe reposition for the third and the fourth, because at that point, they'll get the call out, and then they'll see. But that's a little tangent. If you're holding an angle tight and you hear one guy run up and it's like, oh, this guy's about to peek out, right? You want to adjust your crosshair to a wider position, just because, you know, it's going to be an easier shot to hit. Lots of people, I guess this is something that just wasn't said. Lots of people were holding this tight. They hear somebody run up and they continue holding this tight, and then they run past them and maybe they shoot him in the leg because the guy's jumping and the guy gets away because they didn't adjust their crosshair placement. You hear the guy running up, hold it wider, right? Use all the information that they're giving you to your advantage. So that's all for today. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good day, and I will see you next time.